Hi there friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been crazy trying to shoot this video. It's literally this is my fourth attempt. Just things keep coming up, but that's neither here or there. I'm sitting down, I'm shooting this video. We pray to the content video gods that everything goes according to plan. If you can hear any like noises in the background, please forgive me. I just really want to shoot this and bring this video to you so I can carry on with other content. So this is a wrap up video. I have never done this kind of video. No, I lie. I've done it once. I will link that in the cards. But yeah, I hardly ever do these videos. But the past couple of months have been tricky for me, so I haven't been able to shoot content, but I've been reading. So what we're gonna do is I'm shortly gonna talk you through the books. It's a lot of this. Shortly gonna talk to you about the books, and then maybe you can decide which book I should do a book review on. Maybe you want all, maybe you want none, maybe you just want one. Let me know in the comments below. By the way, we are at 377 subscribers. Woo-hoo! So if you are watching this and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I've been on YouTube for over 5 years now, and I just feel like getting to 1,000 will be a nice milestone for myself. Anyway, let's get into the wrap up video. Is it recording? I would die if it wasn't recording. Okay, so the first book is this one. It's called The Uncertainty of Hope. It took me forever to read this book just because, I won't lie, it's emotionally demanding. Onai, the main character, she goes through a lot. So to give you a bit of context, this book is based in Zimbabwe in 2005 during the forceful removals of people in Harare, poor people or people who just didn't fit the aesthetic that the government was trying to go for Harare. So it's about that. It's about Onai, who's trying to navigate the whole situation because she's a market vendor, and she's deemed not aesthetically pleasing for the government, so she's forcefully removed from her work. And then she also has a family that she needs to take care of. Her husband is super, super abusive, and she's poor. Yeah, so it's quite demanding in that regard because obviously it's never nice to read about people's suffering, but Onai really suffers. The in-laws are not nice either. She's just really having a hard time. So besides this book being super emotionally demanding and draining, I would still recommend it because it's a really well told story, and it's got a few turns here and there that are unexpected, which just makes it a good read. And if you're into historical fiction and you want to learn more about Zimbabwe, particularly what happened in 2005 and the forceful removals of this particular group of people, sure, I personally enjoyed it in that regard because I'm always trying to read up on African history, but I find history attached to a fictional story, I don't know, it's just easier for me to absorb and retain. So that's why I would recommend this book. It's really worth reading. I think if you've never read anything about Zimbabwe, I think this is a good start. The last book that I read by a Zimbabwean author was I forget the author's name, but the name of the book was We Need New Names. Stellar work. Do not be deterred by how emotionally demanding it is. I would say find a moment when you have the emotional capacity. So that's that book. So the next book is this. It's Yesterdays and Imagining Realities. a anthology. Look at how close I have to put it because I'm not putting on my glasses. An anthology of South African poetry. There you are. So, like it says, it's an anthology of poetry. I was honored enough to be the moderator at the launch. So, I did have to read it, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed um, just seeing the poetry that's out there, especially coming from young South Africans, like what, how they reflect on South African history, their history, and how they imagine like new realities and imagine what the future is going to be like for them. So I really enjoyed it. And if you are into poetry, I would highly, highly recommend this. Yeah, and I will actually in the description box below, I will put the link for the event because it was virtual. So if you guys want to check that out, that's something worth checking out. Okay. So the next book is this one. It's called One Day We'll All Be Dead and None of This Will Matter by Sachi Cole. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Sachi was born and raised in Canada to Indian parents. So a lot of her, did I say this is a collection of essays? It's a collection of essays. After reading The Uncertainty of Hope, I was completely shattered and I couldn't bear to read anything intense or fiction. I just needed a break. So that's why I grabbed this one. And yeah, it did the work that it needed to do for me. It meant I could keep reading, but yeah, it wouldn't be like so draining. I think that's the story of my life, like trying to balance non-draining things versus draining things. Anyway, so this collection of essays is mostly about her experience as a brown girl growing up in Canada, but also having Indian heritage, like, trying to navigate those two worlds. So she talks about mostly that. She talks about her being a light-skinned Indian, what that means. She talks about the, what is that system called in India? Oh, she talks about the caste system. Yes, I'm smart. So she also talks about the caste system. She talks about just like the hierarchies that are in India and what it means or what has meant for her life, for her parents being sort of like, high up in the caste systems and all of that. She talks about growing up as a plus size woman, just everyday issues that brown and black people have to navigate through. She talks about them. When I was going through some reviews of this book, a lot of people were criticizing her, saying that there's nothing super insightful that she's bringing to these narratives and these stories. Like, it's almost like she's rehashing things, and people were like criticizing her for being too young. Like, what does a young person know about what the hell is she writing about why the hell is she writing essays and so forth. Honestly, I call BS on that. First of all, just because you're young does not mean that you have nothing to add to the conversation. And sure, a lot of the things that she was talking about wasn't like groundbreaking, but for me, I still enjoyed it because it offers like a point of reflection. I reflected on my own life and my own experiences based on her experiences as well. She, for me, she's a brown girl trying to navigate a white world. So some of her experiences are my experiences. And of course, like, the black experience will be worse than the brown experience. And I like the fact that she acknowledges that. She acknowledges that as a brown, fair Indian, like, her experience is slightly more privileged than other people. Yeah, it's not groundbreaking, but was it interesting to read? Is it a point of reflection? Sure, I enjoyed it. And she's hella funny. She's hella funny, and it's exactly what I needed after that very, very serious book. So I guess each to their own. For me, I enjoyed this. So the next book is this one. It's called Staring by Starlight. How to fulfill how to fulfill your destiny no matter what, by Martha Beck. If you guys watched Oprah, like I want to say like 10, 15 years ago, then maybe you remember Martha Beck being on the Oprah show. Yeah, so that's how I know Martha. And this book was recommended by a spiritual teacher of mine. So yeah, so there's certain books that just come into my life and I'm like, oh, okay, I must read it. So it's not kind of, it is a what you would call a self-help book. And I know a lot of people are not fans of self-help book, especially in these booktube streets. Again, each their own. I find self help books very helpful. I have in the past, and I continue to find them helpful. And the reason I love them is because they offer me um, a lot of them offer me a different point of view on a certain topic, and I'm always one who I just try like see things differently, trying to change the wiring that I have, and I just find like books do that for me really well. But I get it. Not everybody likes them. Anyway, that was a long spiel. So yeah, so it really is in the title, how to fulfill your destiny no matter what. And I love the book because it's very practical. You know, she gives you exercises and you write about it. And it's really, if I were to summarize it, I would say it helps you look at the narratives that are currently influencing your life, you know, those subconscious narratives, and it brings them, you know, to the forefront of your consciousness and you're able to look at them. And also, it's just the idea of like everybody has a purpose and how to follow that purpose no matter what. Like everybody has a North Star, and no matter what you do, that North Star will always be in the same position. And really, how do you find that North Star, and how do you, yeah, navigate your way towards it? I would say it's very similar to Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I have a review of that. Check it in the cards. It's very similar to that because it's practical. It's very based on like practical things, everyday things that you can do to help like yourself unshackle yourself from, you know, narratives that influence your life. um you know, and by narratives that influence your life, I just mean like, you know, sometimes you get into a situation and you react a certain way and you're like, oh my god, in hindsight I don't understand why I reacted that way, only to find that it was a trigger point for you. There was like something that you went through in the past that you haven't looked at, and now it, you know, it comes up. So that's what I mean. um oh my god, I'm all over the place. So it's very similar to Big Magic because it's practical. And two, it acknowledges just like how there are other forces at play. And I don't know about you, but I'm very spiritual, so I do acknowledge that there are other forces at play, and she acknowledges that. And she's not too like, I don't know, I think she's grounded in the practicality of being like a physical being in this physical world, earth that we're living on, you know. So as much as she's acknowledging that, she's offering you practical advice. And I think that that's just my jam, because that's where I live, really, between, you know, the physicality of being a human being and the spirituality of being a spiritual being. So highly recommend this if you're looking for something to just like inspire you, to get you maybe out of a rut, or to just like help shake things up for you in terms of like, how are you living? Why are you living like this? Why are you this person? What is your personality? Can you change your personality? All of that, girl. All of that. Okay, friends, so that was my wrap up video. If you want me to do like a full on review on any of these books, please comment down below, and based on what the consensus is, I will go with that. Yeah, so this was the wrap up video. The next video to come is a book review of James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room, because that's what I'm currently reading, and you are getting that book review no matter what.